if my mind was saying, okay, now, lady, you got to go and gain some of that weight back. You know that, don't you? And that voice, I mean, I'm really glad that I did that because 30 pounds later, I had put on slowly. And then I got to the point again where I'm like, wait a minute, what's really going on? And then talking to Lisa more about, that healthy mind. And honestly, I've been working on my healthy mind for 15 years, but it's only within this last couple of years, mostly this last year, 6 months, that I realized why I allowed myself to gain. And it was kind of scary because I was constantly judging myself. I was constantly criticizing myself. And that hurt because I did that growing up all my life. And so then I just started feeling really sick again. And my BMI, I checked that and I went, whoa, what happened to the 22 BMI I was at? I was back up to, I don't know, maybe a 26 or 27, I don't know. But that really doesn't matter because I could share with you today my scale victories because I have them now. I've just got 16 more pounds to go to get where I was, but it's like I'm not even as excited about that. The weight I'm losing up here, I was just telling Lisa, I feel like, I think I was telling somebody because I met with a couple ladies yesterday. I feel like I'm losing weight, like I lost the physical weight. I feel that up here, and it's so freeing because I could feel it just like I felt the weight coming off, and I felt my body and the fat melting away. I feel that, all the junk, all the crap, which is all the complaining, all the problems, all these situations, all the anxieties and conflicts and problems that I had that I kept chit-chattering about. And I realized that, boy, your self-talk, it's terrible. It's crap, So I'm releasing that and I'm embracing that. And also, I'm embracing more of the healthy mind part because I grew up very fearful. I did not hear a lot of life stories in my house. Even though, I grew up in a godly home, we're all messed up. Doesn't matter. We're all messed up. And we all function in dysfunction. So, I'm no different than you. And I just really have been wanting to do something about it to the point where I don't want to live like that. I don't want to talk down to myself because I'm doing it to you and to everybody else if that's what I'm doing to me. And one verse that I have for years tried to really live and ask God to show me, how do I love myself? How do I love you, God, with all my heart and my soul and my mind? And then love others like I love myself. And that really bothered me, being, a godly woman who lives in fear, who's so judgmental, who thinks she's got to do it all for everybody else and not herself. So I'm learning what love really is. And though I don't, I know a little bit more today, tomorrow when it comes, if I get it tomorrow, I'll learn a little bit more. So I'm just really embracing a lot of the fear that has held me prisoner in my own mind. I've always felt like I'm not free. If you're not free, what are you? A prisoner, right? So I kind of created an awful stinky jail to live in, and now I feel like I'm being released. I'm free to walk and to find who I am. I have situations in my life with a new job that I'll tell you right now, I was not proud of myself the last several weeks training because all that self-talk still was, you can't do it, you're not smart enough, you're stupid, you have a learning disability, you have blah. I'm like, wait a minute. And Saturday when I went to work, it was like the weight. It was like I could feel when I was losing the physical weight. You know how you've all felt the physical fat kind of just melt away? Well, that's what I'm feeling, emotionally and in my mind, is the stuff that I was thinking about myself is melting away. And there's like a whole new world out there for me to embrace. And I went to work and I loved it. Yes, I'm not a computer person, but I'm doing the best I can, and I really feel that I'm in the right place at the right time now, and not always trying to feel like it's wrong. Because if it's not wrong, you got to find out there's something wrong, and that's a lie. That's not true. So yeah, I'm my big word today that I got when I was having my quiet time was, okay, Deb. You have to let go. You've got to lose control. And I said, okay, God, now what does that mean? What's that look like? What do I need a little bit more definition. Like, do you really, Deb? Yeah, I do. And the word I got, and I told Lisa, it's a surprise, it's surrender. And that's what I heard. And I'm like, yeah, I know what that is. No, you don't. So I said, okay, I'm going to surrender. What am I surrendering? And you know what I used to think? Surrender means you give up. You quit. No, it isn't. It doesn't mean that. I'm just yielding myself over to doing to someone else. To me, I'm surrendering myself to God because I feel very safe and in His hands. There's some feedback. Do you hear that? Anybody here? There's a lot of echoing. Okay. So the surrendering is you're not giving up. You're continuing to talk well to yourself and choose, like Dr. Ray says, what that trilogy is all about. When your mind is really engaged and you're thinking about what you're thinking and you're choosing to behave differently than maybe you've already done, that's work. That's surrender. So I like that word. I'm embracing it because I'm submitting. I'm submitting to someone, to God. Really, I feel very safe in His hands, and yet I feel very responsible for myself, and just for myself. And I don't have to fix you or do it for you or somebody else. I'm a very empathetic, being an ex-nurse, I got in trouble because I took everything home with me and I couldn't handle that. And it wasn't my responsibility, but I didn't know any better. It's what I used to think. Well, now I'm embracing the fact that I can really support people if I detach myself by taking just care of myself. And in taking care of myself, I'm going to know automatically, right? What you need or what you need. At least I hope so. That's about all. I mean, there's probably more I could say. But.
Well, it's really cool. We can sort of open it up for questions now. And I know that probably some of you have some questions. That's the thing is like Deborah says, we're all the same. We're all the same people. We've all got different circumstances going on daily in our life. And I know Deborah and I, just the conversations that we've had, most of the things where she's had the chatter has been what she's told herself for a long period of time. But what I found through coaching her was it was things that was outside of herself. It was maybe someone else was having something going on in their life. And then she felt the need as a nurse to maybe attach herself to try to fix them. And whenever Deborah and I had this discussion, there again, this program, this is all about creating wellness in your life. wellness where you get the physical and the mental married and in balance. That's whenever you can live optimal health. But whenever you don't have that exactly where you're at, where you need it to be, and you're trying to fix someone else, chances are you're probably going to fall down because you're not quite there yourself. So whenever Deborah has shared that she's had to really focus on herself, that's been very difficult for her. Because even whenever she and I talk every week, she will tend to talk about things outside of herself, and I always bring her back to her.
Yeah.
So, Deborah, I'm going to start a question out, and we'll open it up for anybody else to ask questions. But what do you find that has probably been one of the number one things that's caused you to sabotage your program more than less?
The old chatter, the mind that was very, very self-destructive. Like I know that my weight, my heaviness was a protection for me, and by eating, I was bringing comfort, but I was also subtly, because I couldn't tell people, I couldn't tell them right to their face, stop, what you're saying isn't correct, or it's bothering me. I could never admit that things were affecting me in a negative way. So I would just listen with a smile on my face, and then I would go home and then I would eat. So I protected myself inwardly by eating food that I thought was bringing comfort to me, when in reality it wasn't. I didn't want to be hurt by people, and I didn't want to hurt people. So it's this thinking, this weird thinking of this old chattering that I'm just not important enough and I'm not really worthy. You are, but not me. And now to have to take really good care of myself, and myself meaning not so much what I'm putting in my mouth. Yes, we all know that. But more importantly, what am I putting in my mind, and thinking about it and being aware, what am I thinking about?
How has that changed with you being able to change the direction or the flow of that? Just here recently, what are you doing different now?
I'm spending time alone every morning for like 4 months, just taking the time just for me, listening to, things, audios that I was directed to and led to, that is causing me to relax and breathe and see who I am, who I really am, and talking to that little girl inside of me that I don't really know. And I am becoming more aware that, there's a purpose for my life. The purpose in my life is to sit down and get to really know me and take care of me, that I have neglected. I took care of everybody else, not just my husband and my kids, but everybody else, parents included. But sitting by myself and having my own time, and then I'll journal, and I'll I take my day from there.
Are you quicker? Are you quicker with whenever something outside of yourself, maybe they're speaking something that's causing the chatter? Are you quicker to observe that now?
Oh, yes. And I think I am, because I'm taking 45 minutes aside to really practice. I think everything is an art, and if you don't practice something over and over again, like I practice all my life being negative, so now, I'm practicing, and I'm noticing almost immediately, and that's been so freeing and wonderful, because in the past, it could be months, and then in the past year, it could be a couple of days. Well, now it's like minutes, or immediately I'll see things, or I'll start hearing myself wanting to go and to judge something, and I go, Wick, stop, So that for me is huge. That's the weight I'm losing by the speed of my recovery. And I could look how I was a few days ago, a week ago, and it's increasing. And I pray it's going to keep, going that way. Like you've said, Lisa, where, it's just going to be, I'm going to be so free. It's like, I feel like I'm not going to recognize who I am. And believe it or not, there's a fear in that. There's a fear because I felt that way when I looked in the mirror. I was like, who is this person? And it wasn't like I was fat my whole life. I wasn't. I was 115 pounds growing up, and I was told I was fat. So you see, I got a lot of junk in me when it came to how I look. But it's so nice to know that you can overcome anything, by practicing what you're thinking about. And, your mind, my mind is my greatest asset, but it could be my greatest enemy too. And I don't want that. I can choose now. Like Dr. Anderson says, you stop. But everything that you do or every person that you see, I feel like, like a shutter just quickly goes over my eye and I see something different. It's like when you take a picture and then the shutter on the camera goes click. Well, that's how fast now I'm seeing things.
That's great. Yay!
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So anybody else? I know everybody's got questions for Deborah.
Deborah, during your day, like when you hear that chatter starting, is there anything in particular that you will in your mind say to yourself or out loud that will help you to stop it?
That's a really good question. I wish I could say, Becky, that there was one thing. But for me, because I'm just so out there and versatile and changing, I just think of love. I just think of, wait a minute, I am love. And I really probably think more that, what, people need me. They really do. And I know Lisa has said that over and over again, and I didn't like it. But I really do. They need me, and I need them. See, and whether you think it or not, that's how I look at people now. I was a horrible judger, honey. Oh, I'm telling you, I was the judge of all judges. My name is Deborah. I was the queen judge in the Bible, and boy, I lived up to judge. No, I really, it was sad, And the sad part is that I really did know. I knew a lot, and that was kind of scary. Which brings me to that inner voice. And I think, if anything, Becky, I think I'm learning to listen and trust without fear that inner voice that I used to listen to. But I kept getting it hushed. I kept being told, no, you can't do that. You're not smart enough. Now remember, you've got this, blah, blah, blah. And remember, you're not pretty enough, and remember you're not thin enough, and remember you're not, but I saw beyond that. But it was like, as a child, I couldn't stand up to people because they were adults, right? So unfortunately, I always talked people down, and now I won't. And I hope if I ever do, you guys put me in line. If you ever hear me or see me saying anything negative, or it might be sounding judgmental or putting someone down instead of encouraging, I still do that because there are some people that won't let me know that. And it's okay because I'm receiving it because I want to grow. I mean, if you don't tell me something about, what I said or did, how can I change it? I mean, it's not, I wish I had a mirror in front of me all the time, not for vanity, but just to really see, how I'm coming across to people, because you're so used to your expressions, and sometimes your expressions aren't what your heart says. Do you know what I mean? Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it is. Anybody else? I love it whenever I hear. Okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say that I just love it whenever you get to see people love themselves again.
Yeah.
It's so wonderful.
You can, I've only known you for a short while, Deborah, and I can see you like busting out between your videos that you're doing, and I don't know, you're good. You're inspiring.
Really, thank you.
You are. You know when you said like when you lost your weight and you would go by the mirror and you would tell yourself you have to gain that back. Why do you think that was?
Well, that's the question of all questions, and a lot of people have asked me that.
Here's somebody, I think is it Terry? Terry, you might need to mute her.
I honestly don't have the full answer, Katie, but I know that we all know what physical abuse is, right? Okay. We all know what mental abuse is, emotional abuse, right? You also know that when you're emotionally abused, it is just as painful, just as traumatic as if you were physically abused. And I believe that this little girl inside of me who just wanted to love and please the whole world, because that's who I was, always a friendly, loved everybody. I didn't love what I saw though, because I was smart, but nobody would acknowledge that in me. So I think I just lived, I had to disassociate, and so I became this person, this big strong person, on the outside, but on the inside it didn't match. So I felt like I had to, no, not that I had to. I just felt like it was my default to go back, you see, to the way I was. And every single diet, I don't know about you guys, but every single diet I tried, I gained it all back and I gained more. I try another. So I always went back to the default. And that's a fact, right? Well, emotionally, my emotional intelligence is just not very healthy. So I really believe that it was my default. And now I'm recreating my default. I don't have to. I can get rid of that. And I believe that's what's happening. I believe that kind of thinking is all melting away because I'm talking to Lisa every week. I honestly, without her help and support, and this is what I try to explain to people, but you can't. You got to want it. See, and I wanted it. Even though I tell Lisa, I says, I don't know how you could just keep on keeping on with me, because I know I'm a tough nut to crack. I know I am. But she was always so strong and faithful because she's loved, that it empowered me. And I realized that I'm loved too. And you know what? That fear that was put inside of me, that wasn't from God. So I was making all that stuff up, right? Because God didn't create me to believe that. He says, I haven't given you that spirit. I'm giving you the spirit of love and power and a sound mind. Yay. So knowing all that, see, didn't change the way I thought about myself. And so now I feel like I'm listening more to that spiritual wisdom and understanding that I believe God put in me. And I just, after I got married, I just got even more and more screwed up. So I've had many years of screwing up. It's like 2 days from now, I'm going to be 65. I'm like, are you kidding me? It's time. Yeah.
I know what. Oh, I totally understand where you are, Deborah. This makes so much sense now. You got those double personalities you're trying to fight off every day.
That's right. So, it's, life is good. It's really what you make it. And 7 months ago, I started a Grateful Journal. And I got a really nice, thick book from Barnes & Nobles with the leather, something you want to write in, because I have a little artsy stuff in me, but I'm learning to allow myself to express it. So I paid the big bucks, and, I've got like 700 different, I number things. I'm going to do a thing on numbers, guys, in my next video. But anyway, you didn't need to know that. But I do like to number things. I don't know why. So that has been monumental in my life, is writing down. It doesn't have to be every day. You don't have to, but keep it out and write in your Grateful Journal. And I had a hard time when I started. I was so embarrassed. I says, geez, Deb, what is your problem? See, there I go again. Negative. What's your problem? Why does there have to be a problem? So there's no problems. I just sit and write now, and they just flow, because I'm just grateful for today. It's all I've got. We're never going to have tomorrow again. We don't, yesterday, and we don't know about tomorrow. So I'm really wanting to live today as if it really was my only day. I'm rambling. I'm sorry.
Now, I mean, me personally, I love it because I've told Deborah, I said she's shifting out of the flesh and learning to live in the spirit.
Yeah.
And that's a great place to be, because you're not really concerned with all the other stuff. It really doesn't even exist. And I know she keeps saying, well, I just don't know that I'll know that person whenever it all leaves. And I'm like, oh, it's okay, because you'll say, that's me. That's truly who I am.
Yeah. I wonder what a snake feels like, because I bought a snake at the store. I was going to do my next video on that, but I'm not. And I wonder what a snake feels like to come out of that skin, and to just be all really soft. I don't know, have you ever touched a snake? They're very, very smooth. I hate them, but I had to. When my daughter Priscilla was growing up, oh my gosh, I had to touch a snake. And I was shocked how soft and silky the snake was. So I'm thinking, what does a snake feel like when they shed all that? It's got to be very, very good, very comfortable and free, Mm-hmm. So I kind of feel like I'm out of my little skin.
We can tell. Anybody else have a question for Deborah?
Well, Deborah, are you encountering people around you that are still throwing negative at you? And if you are, how are you combating that?
That's a really good question, because you would think, you're usually tested, right? And there was a week or two ago where there were, and I would start to feel frustrated and angry, and that's when I had to stop, because that was one of the first things I dealt with probably a few weeks ago, because I've been really zeroing in on fears every morning. And it was, why do I get so angry and frustrated? And believe it or not, for me, the fear was linked to something else. I'm not going to go into it, because things are attached to one another. It's like that seed that grows the plant, and there's all these roots, and this is connected to this and to this. So I was able to stop and breathe and not say anything. And if I did, I can't really remember. I would say something like, well, you know what, I'm not going there. I can stop people now. I really can. There's something else I was going to say, and I forgot it. I lost my train of thought. I'm sorry, Terry.
Terry, I'll sort of touch on that a little bit, because I think all of us are actually getting something thrown at us every day. And I know for me personally, which I don't know, I think Deborah's got the book and Katie's got the book, but change your questions, change your life. So when someone, which it's so easy for us to go the path that we're so used to, which is to attack if somebody tries to threaten us. So the greatest thing that I found for myself that I've learned through reading these books and learning from Dan was to ask them a question. Well, why do you say that? Because most people are in this robotic, it's just stuff comes out. And they really don't mean to hurt your feelings. It's just, that's what they're used to. It's normal for them. But how we can awaken someone else, first of all, we have to, just like Deborah said, whenever they're throwing, you've got to learn how to not attach yourself to what they're throwing.
Yeah.
But you got to be quick. You got to be very quick. You got to recognize. Thank goodness we have emotions. Because when we feel the heat coming out of our ears and our necks heating up, that's a sign that there's something out of balance. And like I was sharing with Deborah, rather than focusing on what they've said, start going internally on yourself. And you go, why am I getting upset? Because there's like she said, there's a root that's connected to something else. It's connected to something else that it's actually your self-worth you feel like is being stripped in a sense. And it's a natural thing for us to protect that. But questions are really good to help someone else to ask themselves, why did I ask that question? Why did I say that to that person? And that's what you're trying to do is awaken the other person. But you first have to be awakened that the things that's said to you that you don't believe about yourself anyway. It's just words that they're saying. But whenever we connect ourselves and there's something inside yourself that you may still feel that way about yourself in a sense, in a very subtle way. And I've had to realize that with myself because I would speak these things about myself to other people. And then whenever I sing, when Dan says, Lisa, why are you speaking these things out? That's not who you are. If you speak these things out, then you will start believing the things you're speaking. Mm-hmm. So you got to be very, very mindful of what's happening around you. And first of all, get to where you're not affected by it. Then once you get to the place that you're not affected by it, then you can be able to start asking questions to other people to help them figure out why they said those things to you.
Yeah. And remember I talked about default, like what you said, Lisa, yourself and when you're going to want to be, I'm going to be confrontational now because you said this about me. Or I didn't like the way you looked at me when you said this. Or I didn't like that you're telling me what to do and I'm an adult and I'm older than you. See all the thinking? So instead of thinking like that, because you're recognizing, wait a minute, this is who I was. This is not who I am. So you ask those questions, you talk to the person from where they're coming from instead of where you're coming from, because I made such a mess by just, staying at that. Who would want to talk to you if you're going to be judging and being confrontational all the time? But the minute I start to love on someone, their whole personality, their face changes and everything. It's amazing. And what I do now at work, I have a bracelet that I don't have it on, but I'm wearing that. It's got a beautiful heart and opened up, and then inside it's got another heart and it says love. And I always wear it on my right hand, and I'm right-handed, so because I'm always using that at work to remind me that, you know what, I am love and everybody needs me, because everybody needs and wants love and they just don't know it.
That's correct, though. Did that help, Terry? And, and just staying connected to people that are, we're all trying to learn this stuff, right?
Your vibe is your tribe.
That's like Hannah said, your vibe is your tribe. It's like, I don't know of anybody who wants to be sad or upset or, we all want to wake up happy. We want to go to bed happy. I mean, I do.
I know a lot of people that want to be sad and stay sad though. I really do.
Yeah, but I think if they had a choice, I think that's a programmable place that it's easy to get into. It's a habit that you just go there, and then it becomes your identity.
Yeah.
So
And a lot of them don't realize, because I think I know what you're talking about, Deborah. A lot of people don't realize that they're there.
Yes.
They don't, it's not necessarily that they want to be sad,
Mm-hmm.
but they don't realize, number one, that they have a choice, and they don't know how to go about it. They think that that's just the way it is. They have to live with it and deal with it and move on. And that's not true. I mean, it's a lie that we're fed, and you know, it's like you said about loving other people. Through loving other people, you can show them that it's a lie, that they don't have to be that way. Because eventually they're going to say, you know what, I want what she has.
Mm-hmm.
Just like with somebody watching the weight fall off of us when we're doing the program, when we start changing the mental, they see that too, and they're like, I want what she has, and how do I get it?
yeah, you're right.
Absolutely.
There you go. Mm-hmm. And it's subtle. It's a subtle thing. Just like with people that are unhappy, that it was a subtle thing that just kept until it just they don't see any color. Everything is just gray to them. So
Yeah.
but yeah, that is true. Everybody wants what you have, and we have to, through the path, we're having to listen to the noise to make sure that that's what we want.
Mm-hmm.
You just got to keep after it, you know. And just like Deborah, I could see where she longed to be. She couldn't see that at that time, but she kept plugging along. She kept reading the book. She kept staying connected. She kept, you know, pushing through those walls and actually pushing down those walls. Because, I mean, she had the rope pretty tight where the wall was not coming down. Yeah. And so finally she's like, I don't have to hold this wall up anymore. I'm letting that wall fall down.
Right.
So that's what we do as health coaches is support someone else where they can push their wall down.
And that book, Lisa, Change Your Questions, Change Your Life, I would advise, if you guys don't have it, read it. Because I'm not a reader. I mean, I start a lot of things. I've started even I'll be honest, very transparent. I have not even finished all of Dr. Anderson's. But you know what? It's all right. That's who I am, and I'm not going to beat myself up. And that was the old. Right now, I'm telling you, that book, I like it because it's a story form, but it's simple too. It's just like we went to the Social Security meeting today, and the guy put everything out there very simply and precisely. We went to another one about a month ago, and I'm like, are you kidding me? And even my husband, who's the intellect, said the same thing. So, Becky, I think what you're saying is when people look at you and see that, wow, I mean, look at all that you went through, and look at how stable and how happy and, you know, peaceful you are, they want that. And so we're drawn, you know, because we are spirit beings, whether you're sitting in a class listening to someone teach something. And that's how this book is. This book teaches the lesson through a nice story. Doesn't it, Lisa? I mean,
it really is.
Good, especially for me, because I was such a judger and ashamed to say it, but that's who I was.
And these things that we're sharing, these are the things that there's no way we've gotten to this place without having some assistance. We've had books that's been, you know, shared with us. Read this, and it's going to help you to be able to know how to manage someone whenever they're in your space or they're saying hurtful things to you. Read this book if you want to learn how to work on yourself. So that's the thing is, you know, the question I know Dan asks me all the time is, how much time are you spending on personal development each week? Mm-hmm. And if you'll really go back and look at how much time you do spend, you will see yourself. If you start investing even 30 minutes a week in that, you will see yourself transform mentally.
Yep.
So
it's worth it.
Yeah.
because you can change that, you know. I mean, we can't change our IQ, but we can change our attitude, our emotional intelligence. And I love that
Yep.
because I'm a living example, and I'm looking forward to whatever life I have left, being another person.
Isn't that awesome? There's life, there's hope.
Yes, that's right.
Life
Faith
and
and hope. And it started with Lisa because I didn't have any. I want you all to know that. And I know you all know that because Lisa's been there for every one of us. But she truly, and when she told me that, I'm like, yeah, you know what? I'm ashamed. I was always ashamed to admit, yeah, I don't have it, but she's got it. So on, and I trusted her, and that to me was huge. You know, we want to be trusted. All of us have trust issues. We're no different.
Mhm.
So thank you, Lisa, for
Oh, thank you for never
Loving
giving
me.
up.
trusting me. Yeah, and yeah, surrender. It's a good word.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
So does anybody else have a question for Deborah? Anything?
Yeah, what is she drinking and eating?
Yeah, what are you drinking and eating, Deborah?
My Perrier water
Okay.
and my oatmeal. My oatmeal I make into muffins. You guys eat the oatmeal?
Yes, and I love the muffins too.
I make the oatmeal into 2 muffins, and then I make that every day. So that's my wonderful meal. It's so I look forward to my tea and my muffins at night. That's my before bed.
Well, guys, this has been awesome. And Deborah, like I said, thank you again for sharing this information with us because together we get better. And we do this every Tuesday at 7 o'clock Central Standard Time. So, you know, if you want to hear some celebration, something positive to feed your, I mean, what good information and to top off your evening before you go to bed because you got something positive, something that's, there's hope. It brings hope into the world. So, like I said, every week we celebrate someone. So it could be a healthy physical body. It's all of it's related because everybody that talks about their physical transformation talks about their mind transforming too. So it's really neat.
And Lisa, I do want to thank you for that because I mean, you know how I struggle doing this. And again, it's all worthiness. But you know what? Celebrating, I'm even seeing that in a whole new light. Everybody, every one of you, has to have a night because you're all worth it. You all have a story that is worth of celebrating. So thank you for doing that, Lisa, with us.
Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. And since we have Terry on here, I don't think anybody's ever heard Terry's story. And so, Terry, if you can, just sort of share with everybody when you got on the program and what kind of success that you've had and what's happened in your life since.
Well, November, I guess, was a year ago. I mean, this past November was a year, I believe.
Mhm.
And yeah. So anyway, like Deborah, I had tried everything. And rather than lose weight, gain weight, and had just kind of basically resolved that this is life. I was 56 pounds heavier than I was in the 80s, I guess, prior to having my last child. I had my last child in 93, and never could get back down, and just kind of stagnated. But as I got older, was continually gaining weight. And so heard about Take Shape for Life. Lisa, I filled out the online contact form, and Lisa was, I guess God sent me Lisa. And anyway, Lisa was the one that called me, and I just signed up that day type thing. But like Deborah, this is not going to work. I had no aspirations that this was going to work. And my daughter, she needed to lose weight. So I told her, I said, I've ordered this food thing. I said, you want to do it with me? And she was like, well, yeah, sure, why not? And so she joined also. And so I started in November, started the first week of November, which is not a good time to start with Thanksgiving coming and Christmas coming. But we were very focused, and we made it through family celebrations with a lot of negativity about us not eating what was put before us type thing. And but we survived. And I think in April, I believe it was April, I had lost 50 pounds just by doing, staying, focused with the program. The negativity came with the people around me, my family, not my immediate family, but outside family, of I needed to stop. It's like they didn't want you to lose weight. So the negativity was that there was a lot of negativity of us trying to stay healthy and exercise and eat healthy. And my daughter lost 70 pounds. And so, it's been a wonderful journey. Lisa has been great. Like I said, I've been out of the loop for 5 months. It's been a very long 5 months, but it's just been a wonderful. I would never, ever, ever had believed that it would work. Yeah. And I have maintained my weight loss for a year, and we've ate foods that we would have never ate prior to. I've never ate so healthy. My husband has never ate so healthy. And I guess the biggest plus was my son graduated from college this year, but he would come home and he would stand here at the pantry and just stand there. And I said, "What is your problem?" "Well, there's nothing to eat." "Michael, the pantry's full." He says, "All you have is ingredients." Which meant there was nothing he could just throw in a pot and add water. And I thought, well, that's pretty good. All I have is ingredients. So, learning the habits of health has just really been, and I've been real. My daughter had her little boys too, and she's very adamant that he will eat healthy. And her biggest thing was he will never know me as being fat. And so she's real excited about that the program worked for her too. So yeah, it's been a wonderful journey, and I recommend it to anybody.
And tell you what's something about Terry prior to the program, she was trying to out exercise a bad diet. She was working out. How much was it, Terry, that you told me you worked out?
I was doing 3 miles a day. I was every day, because Michael, he went to a military college, and so I set I just set myself a commitment that if he can get up and have to do PT every morning, I was going to get up and I was going to get in shape. And I challenged my husband. I said, "Wouldn't it be great to weigh what we did when we had him for his graduation?" Because he's a late in life child. And so my husband will be 65 in October, Deborah. But, being late in life, people approach us, "Oh, is this your grandson?" "No, this is our son." And so, we wanted to look healthy. So we took the 4 years, but like I said, I wasn't losing any weight. I was just gaining. So I was excited at graduation that I weighed less than I did when I got pregnant with him. So.
Yeah. And one thing about Terry too, like I said, it blew me away during the holidays. Whenever she was like, "No," because I always share with clients that I coach, what would you like to create through the holidays? Do you want to maintain? Do you want to still stay in fat burning, or and lose weight? And then they're like, and then some people, it's like, "Hey, my grandmother makes dumplings and dressing, and I want to have that for," And so, but one thing about Terry, Terry and them were like, they had their plan. They went into the family gathering. This is what and that's why she was able to lose that weight in such a short period of time, because she kept focused on her goal. what she wanted. So yeah, but like I said, it's really neat whenever you can you learn the habits of health where you can participate in other types of foods, but you get to that place to where you are in control of food, where food doesn't control you anymore, and that's a great place to be.
Yeah.
Great place to be. Well, guys, this has been great. Hope it's been beneficial to everyone. I think it has. And Deborah, like I said, you're just blossoming. You've got people on here that you just known in a few months, and they're like, "Whoa, Deborah's great." So yeah, celebrating someone for their success. It is. It's empowering, and we look forward to you moving on to the next place in your life, and we'll be like, wow. So, and many people's lives will be touched because of what you created for yourself.
Yeah.
Deborah, we would like to have a book written by you.
There you go.
I was listening to you, I thought this would make a great book.
I'm actually thinking of one too,
Yeah.
because I've always thought I should. So who knows? But the other, just one real quick, one of the most important facts I forgot about my story, and I think this is why I had a hard time and why I had to always look in the mirror. When you're falling down, when you can't walk, and you can't do stairs, and you have spine disorder, and then all of a sudden, 3 months, Lisa, I think it was, because we went on our 25th or our 40th anniversary, and we went into the Watkins Glen area where there's these steep stairs. And I had no idea it was a gorge. And I'm all of a sudden, and you have to realize, only 3 months of weight loss, I was not walking up the stairs. I was literally running up the stairs. And these are steep, small stairs. And there were hundreds of them. And Daniel, who's a very quiet man, some of you that know him, was pointing and yelling to people, "Look, that's my wife. She could not do that and I turned around. And for the first time, then I realized what y'all meant when you were saying, I turned around and I went, wow, this is Daniel. I realized the effect that my obesity had on my family, who was my husband, because it was just the two of us now. And that was hard for me to process. It really was. That I didn't have to use my handicap sticker anymore. I wasn't falling. I was running up I had to take the elevator at the Y. I had to go to this one Y because I couldn't do stairs. It was in my hands and my arm. I mean, it's like, so, the whole pain thing, that's a whole nother story, but I just had to tell you that was hard there's so much to be thankful for, but yet this girl had a hard time processing it. But not anymore. No, now it's like, I don't ever want to forget that. So I needed to tell you all that.
And then also behind Deborah's head, she has a vision board. Vision boards are huge for change.
Yeah.
It's your heart. Put the things on there that you desire in your heart.
Yep.
And that way, every day in passing, you can see the things that your heart desires. And then it's amazing how that some of these things will just happen. You're like, whoa, I didn't even realize how that happened.
Yep.
Yeah. So, yeah. So.
Yeah, I changed my office. I just felt like I had to turn my desk, and little by little, you figure things out one step at a time.
Guys, this has been a great night. I really appreciate everybody being on here and helping me celebrate Deborah. And like I said, we're a family, and we're all here together. And together we will get better.
Yeah.
So,
amen. Thank you.
Everybody have a fabulous night. And I did record this, so that way if anybody would like to go back or share it with somebody that would love to have the information, because all it is hope and love.
Yeah.
So,
amen.
but y'all, everybody have a great night. Sweet dreams.
Thank you.
Good night.
See you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Good